You're going to war with a corporation that owns the day of the week. Welcome to Around Campus with your host, India Sage. The movie Concussion is coming out in theaters on Christmas Day, and the controversy surrounding this is immense and intense. I have the football player, defensive end Gabriel Sherrod here to talk about this issue. Thank you so much for being on Around Campus.
Absolutely.
So, I know that this is your first time here, but this is our first time meeting. You're actually my neighbor.
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
So that's really awesome. I'm glad that we have some kind of comfort level. Let's go right into this season. You know, it's actually winding down. You're getting ready to play your last game of the week tomorrow. But tell me a little bit about the season so far and how you think you've done.
The season so far, as a team, it hasn't gone the way we would have liked it to, obviously. There's things that we need to work on all across the board that we will get figured out. Individually, I think I had a pretty good season as far as my stats in the conference as well as in the country. And there's things I'd like to take back as well to do things better, as I will looking into it and going forward for next season. But I liked what I did, and I'm looking forward to where our team's going to go.
Absolutely. And now I know that your position is defensive end. Did you come into Delaware State University when you first signed on as a defensive end?
Actually, no, I didn't. I was recruited as an athlete, and they placed me at tight end. It wasn't until my redshirt sophomore year that I actually played at defensive end.
Wow. And what would you say, how far has your progression got since you've come into now? You're a senior, correct? Tell me about that progression.
Well, when I first came in, I was about an inch shorter and 50 pounds lighter. So it's been a really big progression, and I'm really proud of myself for taking on the challenges that have arose as the years have gone on, and stepping into a role that I'm comfortable with, and I feel like I'm doing the best that I can and performing pretty well for our team.
Absolutely. With this sport, I know how intense it can be, and I know how serious it can be, and all of the issues that kind of surround it. So with the new movie Concussion coming out, I thought it'd be perfect to get you on the show.
Right.
Will Smith stars in this movie, and he's actually playing Dr. Bennett Omalu, who is a forensic pathologist. And in this movie, he's fighting the NFL and trying to break his new research and ideas on concussions.
Right.
So that's at an NFL, that's at that level. But let's talk about the collegiate level.
Okay,
How
sure.
serious is concussions?
I believe concussions are very serious at the collegiate level, and there are protocols and steps that are taken on a daily basis to inform players and make players aware of the dangers of concussions. Obviously, it seems like it's a more serious topic at the NFL level, especially with the absence of a couple players, as the 49ers actually had a player retire because he was afraid of getting concussions and his mental health during the course of his life. So it's a very interesting topic at the NFL level.
Absolutely. If we take it back personally, have you ever experienced a concussion?
I actually did have a concussion my junior year of high school in a game against a Delaware Military Academy. So I did have one.
And how long did that typically last?
I'm not sure how long it lasted. I got cleared after a week to go back and play. But the symptoms I had, I guess they lasted a little bit longer than that week, but we had a game the next week, and if we won that game, we were in the playoffs, and if we lost, we would obviously be done for the season. So I really wanted to play in that game, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get back on the field.
Wow. Will Smith actually said in an online article, I'm going to read you the quote. He said, "A football player gets hit with a subconcussive blow, gets 3 minutes to sit out on the sideline, then he gets 60 more subconcussive blows, and 3 days later he goes to practice. It's like a hidden trauma." Would you say that this is a hushed issue in this society?
As time has gone on, I don't believe it's as hush as it once was, with the deaths of players and the retirement of players, and more awareness surrounding concussions and more research being really put into concussions. As I was younger, I think it was more of a hush issue because players just wanted to play. And you hear a lot of NFL analysts today who were former NFL players say that they thought that they had concussions, but they weren't willing to sit out because their team needed them. And it was as if they put their own safety in risk for their teammates. That's something that's very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic because you have the love of the game, but your health and the safety of your life after football is also critical. So it's interesting.
I'm actually glad that you said, excuse me, I'm actually glad that you said the cost of your life or the safety of your life, comes into play. And most, football players, they just want to play. It's for the passion.
Absolutely.
But studies are showing that most football is the most common sport for concussions, with a 75% chance of football players getting concussions. That's really high. So I kind of want to know, at what cost are you playing, football?
You're playing it at a cost for your life, honestly. I mean, I know that sounds kind of raw, but I mean, it's the truth. Anything could happen on any play. I mean, you've seen, it's a very rare, but you've seen players take one hit and they're in a wheelchair or unresponsive for the rest of their lives, and that's unfortunate, but that's the game that we play and the game that we love. So the effects are tremendous after, the health effects are tremendous after you're done playing. What could happen, we don't know. And I'm glad that research is being done and studies are being taking place to help players understand the health risks and what could happen after they retire or call it quits.
Absolutely. And right before we wrap up, I want to talk about, kind of the guidelines and the safety preventions that the NCAA is taking. On their website, you go on there and you can kind of see that they're putting guidelines in place for coaches to, bring awareness to their players. Is this practiced at Delaware State University?
It absolutely is. Our coach, Coach Kenneth Carter, makes sure that we're aware of concussion protocols at all times. There's been a couple players on the team that have had concussions this season, as I'm sure there have been all across the country. So we're made very aware of it, making sure that there's plenty of air in our helmets to absorb those impacts and other things that go into it with the training staff. They give us information on it as well to prevent concussions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gabe.
Absolutely.
I had an awesome time with you here on the show, and good luck to you in the season.
Thank you so much.
I know tomorrow's the last day, but you're going to play hard.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. All right. On Christmas Day, the movie Concussions will be in theaters. I suggest you go out with your family or your friends and check out this phenomenal movie. This has been another episode of Around Campus. Until next time.